All right, guys, I'm going to talk about trigger templates. A lot of questions are coming up now on the fully automated plan, so I wanted to share some of the ones that we had in our business. So the purpose of a trigger template is to, well, just a trigger in general, is to automatically send emails or text messages based on conditions. So if these 5 things are true, then send this email. If these 7 things are true, send this text message. So I'm going to give you a couple examples so you can start wrapping your head around this. Here's my accepted offer buyer. Obviously, I have my buyer accepted offer email template, which is listed right here. It's contained in this. So you would click on this, apply template, pick whichever email you want to go out. And then you're going to say what has to be true for this email to go out. So in my case, I'm in Arizona. We have an escrow agent working on the transaction. So I have some merge fields in there. So I wanted to make sure that my merge fields are definitely going to be filled in this email. So you may not have something like this, but my contact role escrow agent has to exist. My contact role buyer transaction coordinator has to exist because I have a lot of information. This is actually, I'm sorry, let me preface this. This is a buyer form that the agent's filling out. So I know that I'm representing the buyer on this transaction. So in my buyer template email, I have the buyer transaction coordinator information. So I need to make sure they exist. I have some, I need to make sure a buyer exists, obviously, because I'm sending it to the buyer. So, and then there's a few other things. The residential purchase contract fully executed. That's at a minimum what I want to attach to this email. Now, I may have in this template email, I may have file rules for the counteroffer number 1, the counteroffer number 2. I may have lead-based paint addendum. I may have some other addenda in there, and it's all going to attach based on my file rules in this template transaction. But I don't need them to be there to be able to send this out. So the only required doc that I need is my purchase contract that's fully executed. So that's going to be on my required emails. Now, when all 5 things are true, it's going to alert me and pop up a red box at the top by your transaction. It's going to say 1 trigger ready to go. You can go in there, you can review it. You don't have to review it. I always just give it a quick scan to make sure there's no missing merge fields. They'll be highlighted in red if there are. And I just want to make sure that email is complete before I actually hit the send button. So this is the toggle on or off. So once this is on, it will be sent out, or it will be part of your transaction template or your trigger template, I'm sorry. Now, if you have to come back in here and let's say you have 200 transactions going on and you need to come in here and change a condition. Well, what happens to those 200 transactions you have going on? You want to come in here and hit conditions, and it's going to update all the conditions back through all your transactions. When you click on this, it's going to say, hey, you have 88 transactions going on. Would you like to backfill these and change these in all 88 transactions you have going on? Obviously, you probably want to do that because you don't want to wait till every transaction closes out to have this take effect. So any new triggers that are set up through intake forms, obviously, it'll be the new ones, but if you wanted to go back through the old ones, you're going to have to hit conditions. If you change like when it's going to be sent out, like if this is 1 day before close of escrow at 2 o'clock or immediately, if you change this or you change the email, you're going to want to hit options, and then options is going to say, hey, do you want to update this in all 88 transactions that you have going on now? So that is how to update. If you want to insert a brand new trigger and you want to backfill it through all the transactions you have going on, you can insert that trigger and it's going to give you that option. If you want to delete a trigger out of all your 200 transactions that are going on, you can delete the trigger. So you have a lot of different options in here, but thinking through the actual conditions is the big part. Now you can do ORs in here as well by clicking on this blue button, and I can say, or if contact role BCC, it doesn't make sense, but I'm just going to put something in here to show you. So is existing property, add it. And now, and you can see here it says I'm creating a child condition. So that means it's an or statement instead of an and. So this has to be true, 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 and one of these 2 things have to be true, as you can see by the or. You also see this little arrow here showing you that it's this or this, and it has the or there as well. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and delete that out, but you can create or by clicking on the blue part of this. If you want to add a brand new condition and make it an and condition, A-N-D, and it would be here as add a condition, and it will add it just like the rest of these. So this is just telling you what is attached. So obviously it's an email because it says it here, but we also have a plus email. You can see here, here's my accepted offer listing agent and my conditions that go along with that. Here's an unrepresented seller, just in case we do have an unrepresented seller. This may not apply in your state. You may, you can just throw this away if that's the case. We're an escrow state, so I have my accepted offer to the escrow agent. And you can see that email, I believe, in the, you can see a sample of it in the email templates video as well. Here's one. I'm just going to kind of scroll down here so you guys can pause your screen on these and you can think through, like, how would you do it? What would be different? Like, contract delivery date in Arizona holds over the actual date it was signed. In your state, this may be different, so this may not apply, but you can think through how these things work in your state. So I'm just going to go through here. You see this one is 2 days after file creation. If I don't have that escrow arrangements, then I'm going to be sending an email out to that escrow officer. And you can see some of my choice fields are in here too. So field, has earnest money been arranged, is not equal to yes. So if it hasn't been arranged yet, then I want to send this reminder email. If we don't have that earnest money receipt, if that is missing from the property, I know we haven't received it, and I want to send out this reminder and say, hey guys, time to get the earnest money over. Now in your state, it might be an automatic cancellation. I was just talking to someone the other day, but in our state, we would have to send out a cure notice, and they would have 3 days to correct the issue, or then we could cancel. So depending on your state is how you'll set up how many days and what conditions you have in here. So here's a earnest money received buyer. So this is when the earnest money number, or I'm sorry, the escrow number gets put in, so it's not blank, and the earnest money receipt received is not blank. So we put a date in that field, and that's kind of just a double check. It's like if you forgot to put one but you put the other, it's not going to send out. Sometimes we do this with file rolls. So like if this file roll exists, like the earnest money receipt and then the escrow number is blank, and that just kind of gives us a double check just in case someone put the file in but they didn't change the field. So let's see here. Now we got a text message. This is going mostly my texts are going to my buyer agents, my listing agents, people that I know are okay with the text messages. And we'll just send like an update here. So when it's not blank, so when we've received the earnest money, I'm going to send out a quick text to my buyer agent. It's going to say 123 Main Street, just to let you know we received the earnest money, and that's it. It's just quick text reminders so that the agent can stay updated. This is really going to cut down the calls that you have to intake on, hey, has this been done? Has this been done? Quick text messages to your clients, to your buyer agents, to your listing agents, all those people is really going to just cut down that communication that they need. So I'm just going to scroll through these again, and I'll let you see these. And we use a lot of choice fields. I know on this screen we don't have a lot, but this one is equal to cash. But choice fields are great because then you can say, hey, if the buyer chose to ask for no repairs, then send out this email. But if the buyer asked for some repairs to be completed, then send out this different email alerting the listing agent. If they decided that the premises wasn't up to speed and they wanted to cancel, that would be my third choice in that, and then that would send out a different email. So you can base these, so you can actually have 3 or 4 or 5 of these triggers that are very similar, and only one of the 5 is going to go out based on the conditions that were put into the fields. So if I chose this choice in the field, this email goes out. If I chose the second choice, this email goes out. If I choose the third choice, the third email would go out. So that's a clever way to do these as well. So let me just go through here a little bit more. The SPUDS is our disclosure statement in Arizona, just in case. So anyway, you kind of get the point. If you have further questions, we can definitely follow up on this, but I think I've shown you enough where you can kind of pause the video and think through my conditions and see how I set this up and what my thinking was. One thing that I would advise is don't put all your triggers in one big template like I did the first time. Go ahead and parse them out, and it's very easy so that way you can say, if septic exists on the property, then bring in my septic triggers. If well exists on the property, bring in my well triggers. If there's an HOA on this house, then bring in my HOA triggers. So that way you can segment them. It's also very easy to search that way, so you're not searching through 200 triggers trying to figure out where I put this and where I put that. Now you're just looking in the septic triggers if you want to change something about septic or one of your documents got uploaded by your state organization. So hopefully that was good. Hopefully you guys kind of get the point. Definitely reach out for more information on this plan if you're interested, and I'd be happy to talk to you. Thanks.